Hey everyone, I am waiting for a court hearing, sitting outside in the parking lot, um, and finally got some free time to kind of get back to you all on what I think is really becoming the major subject of deceit in the church. Um, I mean, it's so hard to say in the church because it feels to me like a lot of what's happening is people that have sort of pulled themselves out of what has been traditionally the church. They're calling themselves Christians and now kind of believing things that are very, very unchristian. And I think that deceit really just revolves around love and what is love and what that really truly means. Um, if you're somebody like me, likes to watch football, you probably see on the football fields, the NFL. They'll have usually in the end zones now. You'll see something about love. There's usually one end zone will say "Stop hate," and then the other one will say "Love everyone" or something like that. And I see that, and I always wonder to myself, well, okay, how do you? Who's really saying what the love is, and who's really saying what the hate is? And you can put those words on a field, but if nobody knows what they mean, then what are you really doing? Are you really making any difference, or are you just sort of virtue signaling, and saying that you should do something? But okay, well, lots of people can say let's do something, but then they don't really say what it is you're supposed to do. I mean, it just seems to be really empty words. And I see this popping up over and over and over again. I literally saw a bumper sticker recently that just said, "Love is love." I mean, wow. Talk about circular, nonsensical, just asinine. And it really got me thinking, though. There's so many people now that have been deceived into thinking that there's no love in the church. There's this absence of love, and if we only had love, then we could solve all of our problems. But people don't know where the love is. And if you look into the Bible says love is patient, love is kind, it's not self-seeking, it is not boastful. There's so much in 1 Corinthians 13 that talks about what love is, what love isn't, all of the things that you can do. But if you don't have love, it doesn't mean a thing. I mean, love is so important. You can be the best possible person as a human being, but if you don't have love in your heart, it's all for nothing. And the words are right there in 1 Corinthians 13. And nobody's talking about that. Nobody is talking about that. And I've had several discussions now with people online, and people who, again, like in my last video, people who I really think have fallen away from the faith. And I know that they don't accept what love truly is anymore, because I can ask them questions about what they believe and I will invariably get evasive responses when I get to certain topics, and just case in point, for example, 1 Corinthians 13. I think one of the biggest telltale signs to know that if a person really has love in their heart, one of the biggest telltale signs is that verse in 1 Corinthians 13 where it says that love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. And what's really interesting is that buried within the definition of love is the antithesis of evil. So to be love, you must not delight in evil. If you delight in evil, you can't be love at the same time, or be exhibiting true love. And I mean, so many people can say, "Oh well, this is love, this is love, this is love." Giving money to poor people is love. There's people that argue that voting for social programs, that's exhibiting love by getting people help that they need through social programs, whatever it may be. And we can have a discussion about that, but I think 1 Corinthians is pretty dang clear. You can do a lot of nice things, a lot of loving things, but without love in your heart, it doesn't mean anything. Now skip over to this other passage where it talks about how love does not delight in evil. Try sometime, if you're wondering, does this person, if you're talking with somebody, if you're having a discussion with somebody, get them to define for you. They'll give you all kinds of things about what love is, but try getting them to define what evil is, because love does not delight in evil. And if you can't get a person to even define what evil is, how can they have love in them? I mean, do you see what's going on there? And I think that is probably the single biggest deception that we have going on right now, is in this current age, from a broader sense, so much of what was good in our society and just in people in general is now considered bad. And so much what we would have considered bad maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago is now considered good. This is a big example. This is a very big, almost I would say shocking example, but get in a discussion with somebody and tell them to look at a picture of a little puppy, like a little puppy playing around, so full of energy and joy, and then say, okay, now imagine killing that puppy. Would that be an evil thing? Yeah. I think that would be pretty darn evil. Like, most people would be revolted at the thought of killing puppies, right? I know that's always an example that people give about, that's worse than killing puppies. That's just that's a thing that's sort of generally accepted as it's bad, it's evil. Well, okay, but guess what? The hot button issue that everybody will avoid if you put it to them is well, okay, show somebody a picture of an aborted baby. Have you seen, of the people that are watching this, have you actually gone on Google? Just go on Google and look, and just Google picture of aborted fetus, baby, whatever you call it. I don't even know what Google will give you if you say fetus. I said baby. I went and looked it up. If you want to know what evil looks like, just look at that. It is absolutely repulsive. But if you're talking with somebody and a person can't admit that something like that is evil, how can they know what love is if they can't even call something that is obviously evil? I mean, looking at that on Google, I'd say, wow, I mean, that's even more repulsive than when I see the pictures of like Auschwitz, and you see bodies stacked like firewood. And I mean, wow, just the dreams and hopes and lives that are just so casually dumped into a pile. Like, how evil is that? And then to see a picture of an aborted baby just literally in pieces, chopped up with a hole in its head. I mean, that to me seems even worse. But what is it nowadays? We're, as a society, numb to it. I think we've now gotten to a point now, and it's infiltrated the church, where we don't really realize what evil is. And that's truly scary because we cannot realize what love is until we can identify what evil is. Kind of the two go hand in hand. Or I would say you've got to have that discernment in your heart. And it's truly sad to me. So watch out. That is a very, very big deception, and it's coming to a theater near you or a church near you. Too many people are taking this up now, and it's very, very concerning. Watch out, guys. Watch out. It's a dangerous place out there. So let me just end by saying love is something that everybody can find, everybody can experience, everybody can know it. But the reason that people have such a hard time finding it, experiencing it, is because you can only find love in God, and you can only get to God through Jesus. Let me share the verse, which is probably the one that everybody's heard of. Whoever does not love does not know God. This is 1 John 4. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. And later on it says, again, God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. And I mean, that just says it all. That just says it all. I think this just, the new version of Christianity, the new cult that's out there, really wants to discount this. It's written right in the Bible. It's written right in the Bible there. And they don't want to believe that the Bible is still true. I think that the big deception is really all about this central issue. And if we're going to truly do what the Bible says, then here you go. It's right out there, plain as day. God is love. So how can we love? How can we do what is really godly if we don't have His Spirit in us, guiding us in truth and in love? So I encourage everybody, get in prayer, get in the Bible, wrestle with this stuff. You know what? Ask God to show you what is true love, and get it in your heart. Get it in your heart. Don't accept at face value this stuff that society throws at you to say, well, you know, the loving thing to do is allow people to kill their children. Really, that's not love. That's not love. Just take a look at Google and tell me that that's love. So anyway, guys, good to talk to you again. I'll be back soon.